Congratulations on all that you guys have done for combat sports here in El Paso. Congratulations on all the success that CFC has had. You guys came off a sold-out show in CFC4. You've already announced CFC5, which is hitting in October. What's it like bringing combat sports and lifting combat sports like this here in the 915?
Oh, man. Well, first off, thank you very much. It's amazing, man. As someone who's been in this sport for, 12, 15 years, we're used to always having to travel out of town to fight. So to have something here, what we've always said is we want to just give local fighters a platform to show their skills. So it's amazing to be able to do that here in El Paso. Not only do that, but since CFC1, we've sold out every single show. So, the support from El Paso, from the fans, from, nearby cities has been amazing.
Let's talk about, Roland, I'll bring you in on this question right here. Combat sports in El Paso. If people are listening to this right now, they might think when we say combat sports, the sport of boxing. The sport of MMA over the handful of years, the last 5 years or so, has just surged to a huge new range. How have you seen this sport grow, and how do you see CFC growing with the sport of MMA here in El Paso?
One of the particular reasons why I joined, or why we started this, is kind of what Carlos talked about. Like, I figured out that there was really nothing going on by asking Carlos that question. Like, hey, why are you guys traveling? I started training, started sponsoring some of the fighters, and then everybody was going all the way to Boston, all the way to, Massachusetts. And I was like, why? So a little question like that brought us to, what CFC is today. The amazing matchmaking that Carlos is making. It's allowing, El Paso to thrive in its own town. We don't have to go anywhere else. We can actually, showcase the amazing talent that we have here in town. And I love the feedback that we get, from, the out-of-towners, from Albuquerque, from Tucson, from Phoenix, where they actually now kind of prefer to, travel here because of the spotlight that we put on them. So something that I knew coming in is that MMA was one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing sport at the time. And, from the business perspective, that made sense. And so there was a void in the market, and there was an opportunity with the fastest growing sport. So we took on the challenge, and it's been great ever since.
Yeah, you've embraced the opportunity. And to you, Carlos, this is an opportunity to not only lift amateur fighters here locally, but to showcase some of the pro fighters who want to continue to grow their own career. And they don't take this like a hobby. They take this like their true livelihood, their true sport. This is something that they do on a day-to-day basis, and they take very seriously. You guys allow these pro fighters an opportunity to showcase themselves in big environments like this.
Yeah, of course. Most of these pro fighters locally, this is all they do. They dedicate their life just to fighting, to training. So to be able to give them, a spotlight to get recognized from bigger promotions, we're doing our job. That's essentially what we want to do. We want to graduate someone from here to essentially the UFC at some point.
Jimmy Dukes is now with us right now. Second appearance here on Sports Talk today, which I'm very excited about. Jimmy, you've gotten a chance to watch combat sports grow just like this here in the city of El Paso. What is it like to see organizations like CFC, promotions group like CFC, have so much success over these last couple of years?
It's awesome. You know what I mean? I've been a long fan of the sport. I've trained jiu-jitsu and kind of been around a lot of guys that train and fight. So me, with my background of content, I was like, why is not anybody covering, like MMA?
Right.
There's enough boxing and there's jiu-jitsu, and getting to know these guys that I've known and cross paths and other guys that, that cover the sport as far as, with the content, it's awesome to see. You know what I mean? And, you get to see local guys do good and then go out of town, and then they're like, oh, where are you from? El Paso. And then, we get that buzz. And just how these guys they've made a new standard when it comes to the promotion side, the marketing and everything, and everybody gets excited to see this event. So just me sitting back and being able to come in and hang out and kind of have a small part of just, taking pictures and videos with all the rest of the CFC crew, man, it's amazing to watch.
We're going to get to Anthony on our hotline in just a second, but before we do that, Roland, if people right now are listening to this and they've never heard of CFC, they have never been to a show at Speaking Rock, they don't follow you all on social media, they're not really even sure about the sport of MMA, how would you describe CFC to somebody who is unfamiliar to this and might be listening to this right now wanting to learn more? Okay, so it's one thing to be a fan of, MMA on TV. But when you get an opportunity to watch the sport live, and especially the way we run our show, we actually call it a show
we don't just put fights together. We put a whole ambience and a whole show together. From the time you come into the venue, shout out to Speaking Rock Entertainment Center. They do a great job at hosting us there. The production, everybody, it's an all ages, one of the few events that you'll be able to attend all ages at Speaking Rock. So even if you don't like the sport, boxing currently still has a huge market share, right? But I've had people that they just show up because we have them as a guest, and then they weren't even a fan of the sport before, and now they want to go to every single one of them.
That's like me. I'm like the prime example of that. Like I'd never been a fan of the sport prior to maybe 2-3 years ago, got hooked immediately. I think it's like one of the best sports out right now. I truly believe MMA is one of the best.
Before, 2 years ago, I was more into boxing. I start training myself. I start diving into it. And once you have a little connection to someone in there, it's just it's a completely different feeling, But also being able to watch it live, it's completely different. So I'm really proud that we as a team are able to bring, this to El Paso where we can enjoy this. I always say this all the time, we complain about not having stuff to do in El Paso, and now we're bringing this opportunity every 3 to 4 times a year, and come out and support. We're super grateful. El Paso has been great. We've sold out. We've exceeded our expectations every single time about attendance. So but we're only touching a tiny little percentage still. So we want everybody to, come out and enjoy the show.
I want to ask more about the entertainment part of things. I want to ask more about the matchmaking part of things here in just a little bit. Let's bring on Anthony, who's joining us on our hotline right now here as we continue. Anthony, it's great to hear you back in El Paso. You reside in Tucson. You're a perfect ambassador for CFC because of your UFC Bellator, ties and everything that you do. By the way, the social media posts that you threw out there today talking about Free Friday with some freedom, that was hilarious. I was dying, and I had to like it from our station's Instagram account. Congratulations for making us die over here and laugh. And thank you for joining us all the way out in Tucson, man. How's everything going, Anthony?
ESPN El Paso, what is up? Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you guys for taking the time to hear how everything's going with CFC Promotions.
Anthony, I'll turn it to you. What is it like just working with this group right here out at CFC? You're a person who, if anybody has gone to any of the CFC shows here in the past, we see you in the ring, we see you announce everybody, we see you bring the hype and really set the tone for what's ahead for the big show.
Yeah, it's kind of a heavy job. The first time I came out, I was only there to commentate the fight, and basically, help the watcher understand what's going on between the fighters and the relationship that they have and what they should be looking for. And then Carlos was like, "Hey, man, have you ever thought about ring announcing?" And I was like, "Look, bro," I said, "I'm no Bruce Buffer," and I said, "but I'll give it my best shot." And now that job of bringing that energy out of the crowd, making sure that everybody's into the fight, making sure that they build a relationship and a rapport with the fighter that's walking out, that job that I never thought I would have wanted, brother, that is an experience that I could not ever trade. And just working for Carlos and seeing how many hats he wears at every show, seeing Roland, how he leads with passion and great example. Working for CFC is probably one of the best things I've ever done. And as I'm in this later term of my, fighting career, I've been the fighter, I've been a manager, I've been all these things. I've always wondered, what does my future in this sport look like now that I'm a retired fighter or an older fighter? And I think I found, a pair of shoes that fit very well.
That's awesome. Carlos, I'll turn it to you because when we got a chance to see Anthony here at CFC4, it was so impressive. I mean, he had the crowd engaged, and then you guys bring out the celebrity fighters too, the UFC personalities like Alexa Grasso, and then of course Brandon Moreno. What's it like, or how would you describe to our listeners who've never seen Anthony and how he's able to get the crowd fired up?
So, that's what you need in an announcer, right? Essentially what they're doing is they're hyping the crowd, because between fights, it can get kind of boring, right? So he actually CFC 3, I guess? Which one was it? Was it April? CFC 3?
That was 3, yes.
3, okay. So he just he did the announcing for the weigh-ins, right? And we had someone else doing the fight. But he did so good at the weigh-ins that we're like, oh, we need this guy. Like, he had no script, no nothing, and he killed it. Like,
Wow,
yeah,
that's
so,
impressive.
Yeah, so it was, it was an easy, like, we have to have him on our show.
And actually, the first time that we had him over was as a corner. And we were, like, super excited just to have a former UFC fighter, Bellator fighter, coming in with his team, like, and being part of the show. Then the second time that he was out here, he was just a commentator. And that's kind of when we started, like, diving into, the whole goal that we have in mind. And I think everything aligned, like what we're trying to do and, the vision. And then he was eager to come back. I remember, like, this last show, I was like, okay, so what do we do next? Are you going to be commentating? Are you going to be the MC? Or can you do both? And he's like, I cannot absolutely do both at the same time. He's like, but that's when he told me, he shared with me, that he absolutely loved doing the ring announcer.
Hey, Anthony, I gotta turn it back to you because you've done this at the highest levels yourself. You tell us, what's the talent like in El Paso? What's the talent like in the Southwest when you compare them to some of the pro fighters that we're seeing rise up through the UFC?
Listen, Brandon Moreno, Henry Cejudo, those guys started in Tucson, Arizona at a small show called World Fighting Federation way back in the day. That show produced me, Brandon, Henry, Frankie Saenz, Casey Kenny. There were so many guys that came out of Tucson through that show. I don't think the listeners understand how important a springboard for regional MMA is, and CFC is doing a tremendous job. So when I'm announcing and I'm commentating and I'm telling people, you guys are literally seeing the future of MMA. You guys are literally watching future UFC fighters at the ground level. It's not a lie. It's 100% truth because I've seen it. I graduated through regional MMA. Henry graduated through regional MMA. Brandon, I watched Brandon since he was a blue belt, purple belt, fighting here in Tucson. And, they both ended up becoming the UFC champion in the world.
That's amazing, Anthony. And I'll turn it to you for one last question, Anthony. I really appreciate your time joining us all the way from Tucson. What is going to be the outfit, or is it TBD for CFC5? Because the outfit that you had intact and ready to go for CFC4 was awesome. How do you outdo that outfit, that getup coming up here for CFC5?
Okay, so when Carlos, let's go back to Carlos saying that I just emceed the weigh-ins, right? I was like, what am I going to wear? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to summon my inner Randy Macho Man Savage, right? I had my beard. I had a nice haircut on. Everything, the kids on the wrestling team dared me to, dye my hair blonde with them for, the state wrestling tournament. So I ended up still having a little bit of the blonde on me. And I was like, oh man, this is like cool. You get to put these fits together. You get to, get this persona going, and I loved it. So the next time for the 4th of July show, I was like, bro, I'm going to go all out, dude. It's Freedom Day. I'm going to have a romper. I'm going to have a Bud Light cowboy hat. I literally went to 10 different stores piecing together this, the weigh-ins, fit. And then I was looking for, like, something really elegant and classy for the show. And Mercedes is like, babe, you're not elegant and classy. You're a character. Like, this red suit says you. And I was like, you know what? I got a Star-Spangled Pocket Square. I have already some USA things that would fit perfect together. And that's how we landed at that 4th of July fit. This next one that I got going on, I'm actually trying to partner with a suit store there in El Paso that can kind of curate, the suits for CFC.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. I do the same thing here in Tucson. I partner with local businesses that help me. And the business that I've, partnered with here in town they've suited me, for the last 13 years even before I was in the UFC, when I was the world champion in Canada in the MFC. They had been helping me out with my suit game for a long time. So this next suit, it should be TBD, but man, I'm so excited. Like, we're starting to head into fall in October. I already got some warm colors. The sports coat that I got on is beautiful. I'm going to look like a disco ball. Everything's coming together real nice. It's a velvet black sports coat with gold rhinestones all over. It's amazing.
Wow. You maybe, and then it's October 18th. So a little Halloween theme. Maybe you could have a Michael Myers mask or something crazy like that. Maybe we could find Spirit Halloween. There we go. I like it. We can make something happen. We can make it happen.
You know what? I saw a sports coat and pants it's black with a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns all over it, and I was like, do I want to be like this or do I want to be like that? And I think I'm going to just settle on somewhere in a happy middle in between.
Awesome stuff. Anthony, we can't wait to see you back in the 915. We'll see you here soon enough for CFC5. Thank you so much for joining us on the hotline here today.
Absolutely. And to all the listeners out there, if you guys have a chance to stop me and say hi, I love talking to people. I'm a yapper. I will be out there October 17th for the weigh-ins. I would love to talk to, all the fans of El Paso. And obviously do not miss CFC5 October 18th at Speaking Rock.
Can't wait for it. Hey, we've got the whole gang out here, Roland, Carlos, Jimmy. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to close out hour number 1 of the program, talking more Combat Fighting Championship, CFC5, coming up October 18th out at Speaking Rock. We'll talk more about the matchmaking. We'll talk more about the experience. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues. We are live, Gallegos Park, 600 ESPN El Paso. All right, we are back here live out at Gallegos Park, the beautiful Canutillo Community Center. We are out here getting ready for what is going to be a beautiful Movies After Sunset tonight. Puss in Boots debuting at 8 o'clock. The Splashdown gets underway at 5:30. And by the way, tomorrow, if you're trying to make plans from 9 a.m. to 1, consider coming out here. Barks, Branches, and Bookworms Community Fair out at Gallegos Park. And it's going to be tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. You could stop by, get the free pet vaccines, free microchips, free hot dogs while supplies last. Also, stop by for kid-friendly activities, music, and plenty more. That's all going to be happening tomorrow. Gallegos Park, 7351 Bosque Road, out here in Canutillo. Going over, we're talking right now to the great team out at CFC. They have CFC5 coming up in about, I would say, 2.5 months or so. But guys, it was such a successful CFC4. And Roland, I'll bring you back in on this because we talked so much about the entertainment aspect of things at CFC4. I will encourage families to go out there, all ages. I mean, kids. I saw kids out there and they were really enjoying themselves. It's a family-friendly environment. I also saw no one on their phones while the show was going on. Like, everybody's locked into the fights, really intently watching. It's a made for being their product. I mean, when you're there, you can watch everything, whether it's in the octagon, the cage itself, or on the screens that you have too. Not to mention all the post-fight or pre-fight antics that go on with all of you all. How have you kind of refined the entertainment value to continue to try to cater to the audience who comes out to Speaking Rock to watch you all?
Yeah, regarding the kids, I mean, I have my 4-year-old. I don't know if you remember that little moment. Like, he turned 4 that day, so we kind of sing happy birthday.
That was him?
Yeah,
that's cool. Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
And then my niece, like, she's only 6. And I mean, they had a great time, like, and that's the beautiful part, like you mentioned it, anywhere from, the kids all the way to, like our grandpas can be out there and, like, have some fun. But yeah, like, I got to give a shout out to Marco, like, he helps a lot with the interactions that we do. Like, there's this, and all of our sponsors that make those possible as well. Like, there's the activations that we have where, you can pick the shot that we're going to be giving away, to the crowd. You can pick the area we're going to be throwing the free shirts from our merch. We also had from New Deal Furniture. They did this 4,500 like mattress giveaway.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, like it keeps it interactive. Like, Muscle Vibe, our DJs, like they do a great job of keeping the ambience, like with the music and it's just it's such a team effort. And I think we all, put in our little effort to make it happen and make sure that from, start to end, everybody's entertained the whole time.
That's awesome. And I'll throw it to you, Carlos. Give us some of the highlights that you saw from CFC4 that led you to matchmaking here for CFC5.
So for me, I'm biased. The biggest highlights were my students winning.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, those were.
Tell us where you coach at also.
I coach at Elite Kickboxing Academy. So our main event, Jacobo, he's one of my students.
Awesome.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
Yeah, he has 4 finishes. and then 3 of his last ones were in the first round. So yeah, every time my students fight, those are my highlights. Not only that, but to see how the show has grown, that's huge for me, because I live, breathe MMA. That's all I do. I just coach and CFC. That's all I do.
That's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
tell us about CFC5. Give us some of the early thoughts for some of the matchmakings that we've seen.
So I already had the main event months ago, before CFC4.
Okay.
So we were at a fight trip with one of our students, Andrea Amaro. So we were out in
She's
Houston.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. She's the next person in the UFC. So
Agreed.
we were out there, and one of her jiu-jitsu coaches, Cristobal Chavez, he was out there too. And he used to fight, back when we were fighting, long ago. So we were doing mitts, we were training and everything. And he's like, I think I want to get one more. I want to get one in there. So he told the wrong person. I was like, you're on. Well, he actually, the card was supposed to have another name, like Legends or something, because he came up with it. But I was like, so he was kind of the reason as to why Back for Blood. That's the name of the show, because he's coming back for it.
Wow.
So I had that. I knew he was going to be the main event months ago. So this card is pretty much it's built around him, So I wish I could have made him the first announcement, but we didn't have an opponent for him yet. A lot of people said no just because of his, he's good. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He in the regional scene, he's beat everybody as far as grappling wise.
Nice.
So we're literally flying someone in from Colombia to fight him. So yeah, it's going to be a great fight.
I can't wait. Tell us a little bit about both these fighters. Tell us a little about the fighter from Colombia too, and what we can expect there. And what division do they fight in?
They're going to fight at 145,
Nice.
Featherweight. So this guy from Colombia, he's been super active. So Chris has been inactive for 8 years. So this guy has been super active, in the regional scene down in Colombia, beating everybody. So it's actually, I found him. Well, I didn't. He found us through another guy who's on the card. He's also fighting from Colombia, and I guess he saw him repost it, and then he reached out, and then I just offered him the main event, and he was pretty quick to say yes.
Wow,
so,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
he's a really good fighter as well. I got to go with the hometown guy, Chris, just because I've trained with him for so long, and yeah.
I can't wait. Now you made me really excited. You sold the fight to me, at least. You got me excited about it. Yes, there you go. Jimmy, you put the icing on the cake, my man. I'm gonna ask you on this CFC card. When you look at CFC5 and you preview what's ahead for this one right here, Jimmy, what are some of the highlights that you're looking at right here?
There's a lot of guys that I've seen before and different promotions, and it makes sense for them to have the ups, the opportunity to fight at a higher level as far as the promotion and stuff. And some of these guys, I was talking to Carlos right now, I was like, hey, this kid is good. Baca is good. We're going to see the big heavyweight, Jake
Hernandez.
Jake Hernandez come out, man. A big heavyweight that we've been waiting for.
I love heavyweight fights.
Yeah, exactly. There's 2 heavyweight
There's 2.
fights. Everybody likes to be seeing the big guys,
Yes.
go at it. So, there's a lot of local guys, and one thing that they always say, and I like it too, is 915 versus everybody. So there's a lot of hometown guys and good guys coming from out of town. You know what I mean? So there's going to be guys, defending the soil, man, but covering the sport in the Southwest. Now that I get to see people and then they're matching up against each other, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? And it's perfect because what Carlos does, and, I've got to talk to him back and forth, and since I've known him, he makes matches that make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's big on, he's like, I'm not going to set my guys up to get easy fights, because he's trying to set them up for their career. So, having guys to fight each other at the right time, if they're both prospects, even one has to lose and one has to win. So it's a perfect opportunity for these guys to show out.
That's huge. Guys, I can't thank you enough. You killed it this hour. You guys did a great job. I hope, I encourage our listeners to get their tickets already. CFC5, get ready for this one. Mark it on your calendars. The great thing is we are the flagship station of UTEP football, and there's no UTEP football game that day. How about that? Saturday, October 18th, no UTEP football conflicts right there whatsoever. So we're all CFC here in the 915. So we can look forward to CFC5. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by today, and really appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you so much for
appreciate the
time.
opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the platform, and I mean, since you don't have any conflicts that day, you know, we expect you to be out there.
We're going, man. The whole gang is
You're gonna
out
be up there.
Alberto back in the studio's ready. Michael Plundo, even though he won't be here, we got to maybe fly him out or something and get him out here because he enjoyed the last one so much. But either way, we're going to be out there for sure. So thank you guys again. Thanks so much for joining us here in hour number 1.
Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff. Combat Fighting Championship. Check them out all over social media. Check them out on Instagram specifically. Combat Fighting Championship. The CFC team here. Roland, Carlos, Jimmy, and then, of course, Anthony on the phone lines as we continue. Commissioner Coronado coming up next here on the program right now. Gallegos Park, that's where we're located, ahead of Movies After Sunset. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
From the 600.
Killed it.
All right. Thank you, guys. I really
Standing up, sitting down.
However you feel. We stand up. Let's stand up.
All right.
Let's take it with the belts.
All right, yeah.
I love it.
You gotta get in the middle if you can have the belt. You gotta get in the
All
middle.
right. Sounds good. This one, I love this belt.
That's we're gonna crown a new lightweight champion. So it's gonna
I
be
love it. Cool. Awesome.
I mean, that's yours.
This
You have to defend it. October 18th.
You have to defend it though.
Oh my gosh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Nico the cat guy.
Come
Oh
on
my
up.
gosh. Jeez, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Here.
Thank you, sir. How are you? Good. How are you? Good. Good job, guys.
Thank you so much.
Great job, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for doing
I'm
this.
sure you're gonna be fine.
This was a lot of fun, man. Thank you again.
Yeah, man.